This character really confuses me, and this is why. And it's none other than Queen Coral herself. Before I get in, this is just my opinion and why I don't really like her, because her daughter Anemone was kept on a harness her entire life, which is not a very good way to raise a child, keeping them strapped to their entire life, not being able to have their own secrets or anything. Which is probably why in most of the books Anemone's self-centered and needs all the attention because she's never known anything else. I mean, that's probably why a lot of people don't like her. I mean, in the second book, she was really enjoyable and sweet, but as it progressed, it just got worse because an enemy can never be on her own without Coral right there with her. Another example is with Auklet. Auklet is her born dragonette that Tsunami saved. Not only does she raise her the exact same way she raised an enemy, she is also kept from a very young age on a harness. Worst thing is that Coral thinks it's okay to keep newborn dragonettes that should be raised with their parents but not straight on the side every time. They should be able to go out and do their own things and make their own choices with their mother right there. Another thing that's just really disgusting is how she asked Tsunami if they should get a harness made for her. I mean, she is a 7. The book says that she's 7 or so, and that's pretty old. I mean, in dragon years, in the book, I'm pretty sure it is. But putting a harness on a dragon that old to manipulate their decisions and what they do, I just don't think is right. Now that we've talked about how bad Coral is at parenting, now we should get on how she doesn't care for her subjects at all. I mean, sure, in the book, Tsunami says they look well fed and everything, but that just could be because they could keep their own prey and eat it. But how about that one scene where she killed the guard for her hatchery when her egg died? I mean, it's just something the guard can't even control. I know it's hard for a parent to lose a kid, but they shouldn't kill it's like the guard couldn't control that. He stood outside and did his or her job. Octopus, I'm pretty sure the name of the guard was, but they didn't do anything wrong. They were doing the job they were assigned. They had no way of knowing anything from the inside or anything like that. Not only did Coral kill a guard who did his job right, but it was her own mistake for that. I mean, it was really Orca's mistake for doing that, but she also basically tortured 2 of her subjects and got angry when they were bleeding out to death on her carpet. I just think that's so self-absorbed. And the fact that her daughter Tsunami had to tell her maybe you should send these subjects to the infirmary was just so wrong. Like, as a queen, you're supposed to care for your subjects, and when your guards are hurt, you're supposed to send them to the infirmary, and that is not what she did here. Coral, in my opinion, is also very self-centered, covering herself in jewels and pearls and all that, instead of trying to use that to help her subjects. Anemone even mentions in one of the books that the palace is in Turtle's book, the 9th book, she even mentions that the palace is covered in pearls and jewels and stuff, which is not right. Like, she should have used some of the money to help upgrade her subjects' places. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like she shouldn't have spent almost all of her riches probably on just how pretty the palace looks and on herself. Now going back to the bad parent subject. Getting on to her sons. How she said she has 30 of them, which is pretty normal for most queens in the Wings of Fire, fandom. But she said that only the lucky ones got names, meaning that not all of them have names. At least Scarlet even took the time to name all of her sons. While I know that this scene right here is of Coral telling Turtle how Gil didn't blame him anymore, but instead, when Gil got captured, I'm not saying she wasn't dealing with her own hard times. I just feel like she should have told Turtle so he wouldn't live with all this regret all of his life and wouldn't be as anxious as he is. Here's the part where she confuses me. She starts to care about Turtle in this scene and says that she'll remember his name and stuff. But shouldn't she have learned it a long time ago? And before, when he came up, she didn't even know who he was. I'm not saying Auklet is not the most cutest character, but she's not, but the first thing that Coral does is not even ask who Turtle is, just saying she's perfect, isn't she? Just starting to talk about Auklet and how perfect she is. But off of that note, another thing that rubs me the wrong way is how she was going to let Anemone, a 1-year-old dragonette, still a child, marry a probably very old dragon Whirlpool. This just confuses me so much that it's just disgusting to the point where I can't even, this is, hard to explain because it's just so disgusting. Another thing is that she says, that she cares about her daughter so much, but locks Tsunami and her friends in a literal prison that where they take one wrong step, they will be electrocuted to death, just as Whirlpool was. Just remember that these are all personal opinions. They don't have to be what y'all think or anything. I just don't like Coral that much. But how she swings all of her emotions around her kids, that she cares about them, and then locks them in prisons or basically restraining them to her body and telling them the decisions they should make the second they disagree with one of her allies, Blister, who is completely manipulating her. Queen Coral is just a different character to me. She's just odd. But remember, these are all my personal opinions, and I hope y'all have a great day. And if you want to see more videos like this, just comment another character I should talk about. Bye!